Well, many thanks for joining us on Kenya's most comprehensive political analysis show. My name is Evan Sokini and I'm here with Professor Herman Manyora, ready to look at how things are taking place in the country and still monitoring the political heat and temperature. Within, Prof, how are you?
Fine. Yes.
We are here. The UDA has come with a wave that has never been seen before, and Cleopas Malala is saying the UDA tsunami is here to wipe everything around. We actually saw them open at the office in Nyeri. It was launched therein, and of course, for the first time, the president was at the UDA headquarters, ready to meet and engage with the leaders therein. And going by the sentiments of Cleopas Malala, the Secretary General to the ruling party, he said that well and good, here we are, and we are preparing for 2027. How watu watakiona? They're saying they'll not even have the agents. Prof, what does this mean for the country when we are witnessing a situation whereby a number of Kenyans are crying? The country is not perhaps headed the right direction, so to say, going by what is there on the streets. And we are already on the campaign mode, and the president and the ruling party are busy strategizing and planning for 2027. What do you make of
Malala?
Cleopas Malala.
He's saying, he's talking tough.
Talking tough and saying.
Does he know Kanu had people like Mboya? Kanu had people like J. Kamodo, Secretary General. Kanu had people like Moses, Samson, Damba Mudavadi as SG. Kanu had tough people like Brudi Nabwera. If he's a Luya, just ask people if he can be half as tough as Brudi Nabwera. Kanu had Raila Odinga, Secretary General. William Ruto. So Malala ni mboga gani? Malala ni mboga gani? Does Malala know that at some point when you went for an interview, the first thing you had to table were not your certificate, but a KANU membership card. And with stamps showing you are up to date. You used to buy a stamp with 10 shillings. There was a slot for 1980, 1982. The stamps must be there showing you before they interview you. So what is Malala saying? There's nothing he's saying. Does he know there's a party called ODM with structures across the country? ODM is a party, and it has big following, and it has many members. But it's not anywhere where Kanu was. It has not reached where ODM has been. It is still a good party with the potential it can grow. It has yet to establish itself. And the Secretary General is still a young man who is learning the ropes. We have seen Secretary Generals, my friend. What are you talking about? People like Rafael Tuju. Sasa, unaweza compare Malala na Rafael Tuju.
So you're saying that perhaps Malala...
Who kept the Jubilee rebels, like my friend Costani and the rest, they're running in circles. Then Tuju will just issue one statement, one line. So Malala is...
So you're saying that...
he's learning...
are you trying to say that Cleo is punching above his weight, so to say?
And you see, you can see he's even threatening Mudavadi and Rigathi. You just use that to show that he's yet to learn politics.
No, Prof, let's get it right here. My bigger question and bigger concern is it the right time for the ruling party to prepare for 2027 elections?
There's never a wrong time. Parties are always looking for elections. Let's even stop blaming Ruto for looking at 20. That's what political parties do. That's what politicians do. Because these are not leaders. We just call them leaders in some context. But when we distinguish between a politician and a leader, all these people are politicians. They are not leaders.
At what point do we draw the line between Ruto, the president, and the commander-in-chief and the leader of this country, and Ruto, the leader of the United Democratic Alliance Party?
See, we have a bad arrangement, which we are copying from the British, and yet we have a presidential system. You know, the president is actually not just UDA, but the owner of UDA. So it's all those things in one. Sometimes it's very difficult to operate. I would admire a system near what we find, what obtains in the US, where the party is strong, and you have to go to the party to beg to be made the flag bearer. Okay?
And you have to convince them.
Yes. Through a serious election. But they still maintain the power. I also admire the one of South Africa with its excesses, except for the excesses, where it is a party that is voted for and not an individual. Proportional representation. And the party can recall you. 1 minute you are signing documents as the president of South Africa. Next time you are told the party has recalled you. Becky, you are no longer the president. The party doesn't want you. And you go home. Then you are dancing like Zuma, dancing and marrying a fifth or third wife or sixth. In the middle of the dance, you are told, please, ANC has recalled you. You are no longer the president of South Africa. In between there, we need to find some space for ourselves. The American model of parties, the South African model. In between there, we can find space for ourselves. The British one we are trying to emulate, where the Prime Minister is head of the party also, is good, except there is a balancing force, because he's a monarch. The King Charles now, has a certain role to play. So the Prime Minister is not everything. But here, the President is like the Prime Minister, is like the monarch, he's the head of the party, he's the owner of the party, he's everything. This we must, in future, as we look at our constitution afresh, we must find a way of cracking this problem. Yeah.
So you're saying we've got a problem there.
It's a big problem.
But then if you are the president, if you are William Ruto right now, would you focus on campaigning and preparing yourself for the 2027 elections, which are due in 4 years' time, or let me talk of 3 years' time?
That's what politicians do.
Or what?
Uhuru went into a handshake with Raila, partly to get space to run the country, but partly to prepare for future in terms of elections. So, presidents, I think globally, you cannot rule out in the action, focus on the coming election. That's why we call them politicians. They always focus on the next election. A distinction is drawn between politicians who focus on the next election and the leaders who focus on the next generation. I've simplified and said, if you are the President of the Republic of Kenya, you have two clear choices. The first choice is to be consumed by the need to be re-elected in 2027. And you'll do everything, and I mean the word everything, to win 2027. You will remove every obstacle, and I mean the word remove and every obstacle, in the way to 2027. But the second option, which is available to leaders, is you want to ask yourself, as a father and a grandfather, what sort of country would I want my grandchildren to live in? 2027 will be secondary, and you'll be surprised at how it will be easy for you to win 2027 if you focus on your grandchildren. As it were, everybody around is looking at 2027. You don't just think it's Ruto. It's everybody. All these people, they are looking at 2027. When an MP is dishing CDF checks as if they are his, he's doing so selectively, looking at 2027. You get it? But there are few leaders who do their thing without caring about the coming election. But surprisingly, they always sail through very easily. Because when you focus on your grandchildren and your children, chances are you always do the right things, you'll do them well, and without you knowing, people will be seeing what you are doing, they will appreciate them, and automatically, if that election is what you want, you'll just win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, here we are. These things are taking place in the country, and leaders have had the president say very well that elections are behind us. These are things that have passed. Right now, it's time to work, and that is actually one of the reasons that even the some of the leaders from the opposition side have decided to pledge their allegiance to the president and support him. Say that we are past elections. It's now time for us to work. But then these statements are made by the president. They are made by the leaders on the other side who are saying that they need to be given ample time. Actually, during the demonstrations, I heard the leaders say that give the administration ample time to work. So Kenyans are confused. Are they given time to work or time to campaign? Where do we draw the line? Is it working or campaign? And what does this now portend for the country?
They are given time to campaign. Yeah.
So what should Kenyans expect now?
Nothing. What do you expect? Let's tell Kenyans the truth. You don't expect anything from politicians. No. Zero. Zero. What we get are just byproducts of the game. If we benefit, it's just a byproduct. No politician ever thinks about the population, about the people. None. Look throughout history. Look around you. There isn't a single politician in a modern state who can tell you they have the interest of the people. Look at rich nations. Nations with a lot of money to spend, but people sleep in the streets. Yeah. Big nations, top leaders of the world. There are people who sleep in the streets. In these big countries, some of these big countries, you can't get treated unless you have insurance. Or money. If you are jobless, you have no insurance, you have no money, you die. Yet, they have enough money to give free medical cover. So, politicians never think about the population. Never, nothing. We clap for them, we dance, we do all sorts of things. But they have no interest called the people's interest in mind. None. None whatsoever. Yes.
So Kenyans should be aware that we are officially back to the campaign period.
Yeah. We are campaigning. And all politicians campaign for the next election. In whatever they do. It may be subtle. You may not see it. But it's always there. Because they are politicians. Existence, survival, and remaining in power once you have achieved is what they do. They do everything to get power. And they do everything to remain in power. So what else do you expect? The only difference is some places it is done in a crude way, on top of cars, as if 2027 is next year. In other countries you may not see it, but it is there. It is chini ya maji.
Finally, tell me what your opinion is on the sentiment still by Cleopas Malala. He says that if you need to realize anything, development, if you're talking about things to do with uniting the country, then the only thing is to join the UDA party. And of course, we've had him in the past talk to the likes of Moses Wetangula and Musalia Mudavadi, castigating them there and telling them to follow the parties and join the UDA. There is also this notion that these people actually want to form some sort of one formidable party. What do you make?
Malala is right. Because as Secretary General of a party, what more do you want? You don't want, you wouldn't want anything other than your party growing, as if you are genuine. So if Malala is a genuine SG, and I have no reason to doubt he's not, then he wants the party to grow by bringing people together. My only advice to him is, when you talk about Mudavadi and Wetangula, these are your seniors. Just know that. And they have been there for a while. And they can see you coming and they laugh. When you're talking about Mudavadi in Western, talking about Wetangula, and you are saying they have kiosks.
Well and good. Prof here says that the country is officially on a campaign mode. I wonder what you think of what is taking place in the country with regards to everything that is taking place. And of course, we've seen our leaders pledge to show their opponents dust when it comes to 2027. We are here still struggling and grappling with a number of issues. The cost of living still biting quite a number of Kenyans, but still we are here to stay. Whom do we have that will actually save us? Who will save Kenyans? That's a question that was asked back then. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to stop this conversation at this particular moment, but do not fail to subscribe to our channel here in case you're watching us for the first time, and of course stay tuned to some of our programs that will be coming up next. Richard Mwenja will be here on Business Glide and Siasa Brigade, as well as Jel Kabiru with conversations with Professor Herman Manyora. Till we have this conversation again, have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans Okinyi. Thank you for watching.